Welcome to this brief training video to introduce you to the rationale, background, and guidelines for administering and scoring the Dream Home Assessment, or DHA. The initial idea for the DHA was the Build-A-City, or BAC, a classic chapter by Clark in Hemphill's 1999 edition of Assessments in Mental Health, which highlighted a group activity where inpatient participants built their ideal city out of simple art supplies. Its purpose was to assess social interaction skills. It has helped me over the years to assess social, cognitive, and fine motor skills on inpatient and outpatient settings. In 2014, I began a collaboration with Dr. Sharon Gutman of the Columbia University OT faculty to design a study where the BAC would be used to assess an individual's executive function skills. We carried out a small student research project to test the reliability and validity of the BAC with mental health clients, obtaining IRB approval from CUIMC. We immediately discovered problems with assessing the mental health population, concreteness, and anxiety-provoking reaction to assessment. "How can I build a city? I don't have enough money or resources," was a universal reaction. In a CU-OT Faculty Journal Club presentation, we shared these findings. Dr. Glenn Gillen suggested that we reconceptualize it, build a dream home, because of the universal desire to design a home. This was the genesis for the Dream Home Assessment. Early DHA research consisted of a meeting with Dr. Joan Toglia in 2016, an OT with expertise in executive function assessment, who affirmed that the DHA provided opportunities to assess sub-skills of executive function that other performance-based OT tests, which focus on routine IADLs, do not, the EFPT, the TOGS, and the WPAC. These sub-skills are idea generation, flexibility, planning, organization, and abstraction. She also referred me to a 9-OT constructive test of executive function, Lezak's Tinker Toy Test, or the TTT. We next established content validity for the DHA by sending its manual to 5 experts in OT and cognition, with a CVI 0.85. In 2016, with a small student research group and IRB approval, we researched the DHA with 27 CU-OT students and their family members and established inter-rater reliability as high with an ICC of 0.98 and internal consistency as high with a Cronbach's alpha of 0.99. We also found that the qualitative analysis of the 11 open-ended questions demonstrated opportunities to assess idea generation, flexibility, planning, organization, and abstraction. In 2017, we obtained IRB approval to use the DHA in a pilot study of 12 subjects with serious mental illness diagnoses at a transitional housing program for formerly homeless people. This began our collaboration with the third author of the DHA, Kimberly Botich, a social worker. Participants carried out the TTT to see if we could establish convergent validity for the DHA. The results indicated low concurrent validity between the DHA and TTT, and the clients complained to Kim that they felt tested both by the DHA and the TTT. Kim suggested that we carry out the DHA assessment in a group setting and provide more time to familiarize subjects with the art materials and the assessment guidelines to lessen the client's anxiety and make it a more enjoyable experience. In 2018, I began working with Dr. Lennon Graho of the CU-OT faculty, who is an expert in using Roche analysis for instrument standardization purposes. Dr. Graho has developed 2 standardized assessments, the Inventory of Reading Occupations, both the pediatric and adult versions, which assess children and adults' reading participation. Roche analysis is a psychometric technique developed to improve researchers' precision when constructing instruments, monitoring instrument quality, and recording participant performances. We obtained IRB approval to use the DHA in a larger study of 60 OT students and recent graduates and clients with mental health problems. We found that all participants, clients and graduate students, loved the experience of taking the DHA. We published an article based on this research in October 2019 in Occupational Therapy and Mental Health. Some of our major findings included: 1. The majority of the test items, 70%, indicated good fit, which supports the internal validity of the DHA. 2. The overall instrument showed minimal distortion with the Roche model, which supports a unified construct of executive function. And 3. 2 to 5 levels of executive functionability were reliably detected. Thank you for participating in this next qualitative study to further establish psychometric properties for the DHA, where I'm asking therapists to evaluate the DHA for its ease of administration, scoring, and potential usefulness to clients. It is your choice to carry out the assessment on your own with an examinee or clients of your choosing, individually or in a small group, or to base your remarks and ratings solely on your careful examination of the manual. About the supplies for the DHA, I tried to assemble materials and tools that are inexpensive and not difficult to secure. If you do not have access to these particular materials, you can make substitutions. For example, you can use cardboard rather than foam board. If you think that your clients feel infantilized by the use of Play-Doh, you can use Model Magic or DOS. If you're working on an inpatient unit where pushpins and pipe cleaners would be prohibited, you could use stickers or cotton balls. If you do change the content of the materials, you should keep the number and amounts of materials and tools the same as they are listed in the manual. The rest of this training video is devoted to sharing key instructions from the manual for carrying out the assessment, for answering the qualitative questions, and for scoring it. Directions for administration. Tools and materials are placed on a table with enough room for the design of a model home or homes. There should be chairs or table with sufficient lighting, and please ask all participants to turn off all electronic devices. Tools and their types. There are 4 types of tools: cutting, drawing, measuring, and adhesive. The materials include white paper, foam boards, foam sheets, construction paper, string, pushpins, Play-Doh, and pipe cleaners. You should read the script from the manual verbatim. Starts, I would like you to design your dream home using only the tools and materials provided on the table. Please follow these 3 rules. Rule number 1. You must use all types of materials in any manner as you can, and use a variety of tools appropriate to the task. You point to and explain all the materials and tools and the sample block. There's a picture of this in the manual appendix. You show 3 photos of completed DHA models and explain the materials and tools used. Again, photos are found in the manual appendix. You show 2 home design magazines and invite participants to look at them. You must provide a 5-minute practice period with the materials and tools where participants can examine the block, the photos, the magazines, and try making objects, for example, with the pipe cleaners or foam sheets. Rule number 2. Make sure you have at least 4 home functions and 1 outside area in your dream home. An example of a home function is a kitchen, bathroom. An example of an outside area is a nearby park or balcony. You define home function and show the home functions and outdoor areas in photos of the completed DHA models found in the appendix of the manual. Rule number 3. Make it 3-dimensional and freestanding when you are finished. You can use hand motions to demonstrate 3 dimensions. You can also explain that the model should stand by itself and you shouldn't have to hold it. You show the 3 photos and how the models are 3-dimensional and freestanding. Next, read the Dream Home Visualization Meditation. Clients can sit with their eyes closed or open depending on what makes them feel comfortable while you read Stein and Cutler's visualization exercise. You ask if anyone has any questions about the visualization exercise. Remind them after they finish constructing their model. You will privately ask each of them several questions about their design and the experience. You tell them that they may keep their finished dream home model if they would like, and you ask them if they'd have any questions. Directions for scoring. There are 3 scales for scoring. Each scale has specific, simple directions that need to be followed. The DHA Construction Scale. Rating measures are listed for each of the 5 items. For example, the number of types of materials used. 1 to 3 materials receives 1 point, 4 to 6 materials receive 2 points, and 7 to 8 materials receive 3 points. The DHA Performance Scale. You use hash marks to note the number of times each of the 9 different errors take place. Each cluster is scored with a -1 if at least 1 error occurs. If no error occurs, a +1 is scored. For example, within the cluster paces, if someone rushes or works extremely slowly, they will be scored a -1. If they work at a typical pace and finish within an hour, they will receive a +1. The DHA Questionnaire. You ask the 11 qualitative questions with each participant individually as soon as possible after completion of the construction exercise. Record the answers verbatim as much as possible, or participants can write the answers to these questions by themselves if they want to. Probing questions are allowed if the client does not respond fully or understand the question. Take note, if the examiner discovers additional information about the construction by asking these questions, the participant's construction scale score can be changed. The DHA Questionnaire Scale. There are 13 themes which are either present or absent in the answers given by the examinee. If the theme is not present, score it with a 0. Assign 1 if the theme is present, even if there are multiple examples. For example, one of the themes evaluated is planning, sequencing, logical thinking, and organization. If you observe examples of this, you assign a 1, if not a 0. There is a chart at the end of the manual to list each score and to compile the total DHA composite score, which could be used for pre- and post-testing as well as to detect change over time. Please complete the DHA questionnaire about your experience with the DHA in terms of both its administration and scoring. Finally, you can tell colleagues that the DHA manual is available for free online on the Faculty Innovations page of the CUOT website. Thank you.